Hey YouTube, welcome back to Military Money Mastery. I'm Dave. Today we're going to be going over the top ways to become a millionaire. And yes, it's 100% possible. Super exciting stuff. I'm really passionate about this because this is something that I want to be when I grow up, when I become a big kid. No, when I hit retirement age, I want to have at least $1 million in the bank. That way I can invest. That way I can live comfortably. That way I can get that sweet new car, that sweet new boat, something that I want when I'm right around that retirement age, something that's super important to me. Okay, so we're going to go over the top 3 ways today to become a millionaire. We're going to go over, is it really possible, and how to do it. And there's 3 ways, and there's even a bonus thing that I'm going to talk about today. So make sure and stick through the entire video, because it's super important. That it's essentially like a 4th tip to getting to be a millionaire. That's probably the most important tip of all. But so obviously you got the TSP, business, $1 million in the bank, super important to me, and it should be to you too. We're going to go over a couple of stocks.
All right, so becoming a millionaire, is it really possible? 100%. We're going to go over a couple ways that it is possible. We're going to go over why it's even more possible now today than it was, even 40 or 50 years ago. There's a lot more that's been going on in the economy. It's so much easier. We have tons more information at our fingertips. We can, invest sitting on our couch or laying in our bed. We can, have online businesses. You don't have to open a storefront anymore. So those are a few ways that we can do it. So to put it in perspective, if you had $1 million back in, like, say, 1965, and I'd say that's a pretty fair time to compare to, because that's about where our parents were, or at least my parents are from the 60s. They were born in the 60s. The inflation has really caused a lot of money to kind of become easier to obtain. So $1 million in 1965 is worth about $7 million today. So that's something to take into consideration. What's the actual value of $1 million? Is $1 million still enough money? And it kind of is. So the first way we're going to go over about how to make $1 million is TSP. What have we been going over the last few weeks? So the TSP is, in my opinion, the easiest way for military and government employees to make $1 million. If you're putting in towards the TSP, and if you're a government employee, or if you're a new military member, you're opted into the BRS, or even if you did opt into the BRS, you're getting the government contribution matching, which is nice. So that's a really easy way to make $1 million. What do? You just put money in and make sure that it's in the right fund and just let it ride, right? So it's really easy. It's not uncommon. I'd say it's common for people to have at least $1 million in the retirement account by the time they're ready to withdraw, 59.5. I'm projected to have that, and I screwed up for the first 6.5 years of my TSP. So it's super easy, especially if you start young. If you start later on in life, it's still totally possible. You just got to put in a little bit more money. So the TSP, in my opinion, is the easiest way to invest to make $1 million. But so that's the first option. The second option, this is something that I'm going to be diving in more in the future, but we're going to be talking about the stock market. So the stock market, many experts will tell you that this is the best way to get, not necessarily rich. I mean, I don't know if you're looking to get rich. I am, but if you want to get rich, this is a great way to do it. If you want to have a great retirement account, this is a great way to do it. Who doesn't want to have that sweet boat or sweet car when you retire and just drive around in your boat or car and go on vacations and whatnot? So this is a really good way to do that. A lot of the experts, such as like Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, Dave Ramsey, I could go on. Recommend putting at least 10% of your pay into an investment account. An investment account in the stock market could be anything. It could be index funds, be mutual funds. Personally, I don't really care for mutual funds, but if that's your bag, go for it. You could do stocks, you could do bonds, you could do options. There's tons of stuff out there to be investing in, and that's something that we're going to go over in the future. I really want to dive into the stock market because I feel like a lot of people think that it's too hard, to invest in, and that, it's only for the experts. It's really not. I mean, I've learned about it, and I've only been studying it for, like a year and a half, and I got a really good grasp of it, within the first month. It's not really that hard. And a lot of people tell you, oh, the stock market's a gamble. Nah, it can be, but if you know what you're doing and you read the right plays, and you look at the stocks, and you don't get impatient, and you wait for the right time to get in, it's really not a gamble. I mean, Warren Buffett never loses money, So yeah, we're going to go over this a lot in the future because I think this is extremely important. So the third way, before we get to the bonus section of this video, is open your own business. So there's a few ramifications that we have to go over before opening your own business. Obviously you need to make sure that you get it cleared with your command. I would talk to legal, like whatever legal team is on your base, or if you guys have a hotline. I know the Coast Guard has, I think we can call somebody, or we could talk to our local base officers who are in charge of legal, and they can give you some advice. And I think it's really good to take advantage of that. But before you open your own business, make sure that you have a great business plan. Make sure that you understand, some of the legal ramifications of having your own business. Make sure that you have enough money for your own business. Make sure there's tons of stuff that goes into this. And this, in my opinion, is the most time-consuming, the hardest, and the most risky way to become a millionaire. And I'm not saying that the stock market or the TSP are without risk, but I think that this is the most risky, because most small businesses fail. So you really have to get into it and know what you're doing, or at least be extremely passionate about it and be willing to, seek help when you do need to. You also need to know, advertising, marketing, accounting, budgeting. Tons of stuff goes into this. And it shouldn't really just be like, oh, I feel like making a business today. Let's see what it does. I know with the online business market becoming bigger and bigger, it seems easier and easier, but I feel like it's getting harder and harder. You just have so much more competition. I mean, when you go to a shop for something, where's the first place you look? Amazon. And to break into a market where you're trying to work against Amazon or eBay or Walmart or any of these companies is actually really, really difficult. So if you're going to open a small business, make sure that you have the plan set beforehand. Make sure that you have a good backing. Make sure you have investors. It's really I'd say that it's very fulfilling, but at the same time it's very, very risky. And don't fall for those ads where they're like, hey, sign up for this course and we're going to teach you this one little trick that's going to make you an extra $10,000 a month. Really? Like, how many people are there in the world, and how many people could be making an extra $10,000 per month then? Like I understand that there are ways that you can be doing that, but come on, have a little common sense here. So before we get to the bonus part of this film, I want to go over, I want to thank everybody so much for watching the video. It really helps if you guys could like and subscribe. It takes like 2 seconds just to click that like button. Really promotes the video, promotes the channel. It's really good for us. We're also like sharing, and subscribing. Hit that bell icon. I know every YouTuber says it, but it really does help. This channel, I feel like, is a good way to help our brothers and sisters or whoever else is in the military and government employees to reach a point where we're not concerned about the government shutdown, or we're not concerned about when we retire, because we'll be good to go. But so that's my little plug. So let's go over some bonus stuff. So I want to go over budgeting. So I know it's boring, like people are like, oh man, budgeting, really? But it's probably the least favorite way for everybody to save money, or be able to invest more, but it's so important. I mean, every business owner, every investor that's successful will set a budget at some point. Like I was saying earlier with the stock market, you need to be putting at least 10% away. That really helps as far as growing your investment account. So having a good budget really helps determine what your investments can be. So, you know, how much money do you put away a month? Is it $200 a month? Is it $1,000 a month? I mean, if you can afford it, you know, why not? You know, if you look at your budget and be like, oh, hey, if I just stick to these little tiny principles, I can, you know, have an extra $1,000 a month to invest. And so that's $12,000 a year, or $24,000 every 2 years invested. And yeah, I think if you're getting a return of, I think it's 10%. If you get 7.5%, I think you double your money every 10 years. Or if you, I think it's maybe 12%, and you can double every like 3 years. So it's super important to be putting this money away. All successful business owners do this. Yes, every successful business owner does this. Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, list goes on and on. Every single business budgets. And if they're successful and they're making it happen, why aren't you? All right, so that's just something that I wanted to plug in there. Like, it's super important. All right, and I think that it's something that's really overlooked, and it's something that you need to be doing. Okay, so we know what the main three methods are for becoming a millionaire by retirement age. So which one is best for you? You know, is it thrift savings plan? Is it the stock market? Is it being a business owner? I don't know. That's for you to decide. You know, are you willing to take the risk to become a business owner? Can you afford it? Do you know what you're doing? Have you researched it? Have you, maybe taken some classes on business? Have you talked to investors in the area? Do you have an idea of something that, maybe if you want to open a brick and mortar store, do you have an idea of like what's around the area, or what, people like? Maybe. And if that's the case, then, maybe you want to be a business owner. Do you know about the stock market? Have you researched it? Have you watched trends recently? Do you know something about a certain sector? Those are great ways to get into stock market trading, and we'll go over some of that stuff in the future. And then through savings plan, obviously, I mean, if you've watched any of the previous videos, you know that I'm really passionate about the stock market, and I invest heavily in the stock market. I also invest heavily in the TSP, and I invest in as a business owner too, because I do have a business. Like the TSP is extremely important as far as investment goes, as far as retirement goes, and especially if you're in the BRS or you're a government employee, it's really important to be using that contribution matching. So anyways, guys, I'm Dave from Military Money Mastery. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next video.